The Crash Course Podcast is brought to you in part by DerbyParts.com, the 2015 Bash for Cash and Smash It Demolition Derbies, Bull Lockwood Motorsports, and the 2015 Keystone National, Scioppa Racing and ScioppaRacing.com, and Derby Inc. Magazine. Live it, breathe it, be it, Derby Inc. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby Podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good evening, welcome to Crash Course episode number 84. If you can believe it, the Bash for Cash is already upon us. Coming up this weekend, we'll be rolling out Friday, heading off to Washington Courthouse, Ohio for what always promises to be one of the most spectacular Demolition Derby extravaganzas of the year. More than 700 entries expected this year for Tim and Russ Clark's event out there, the crown jewel of Smash Demolition Derby's 2015 season. We got joining us here in studio, Todd Height in the studio, fresh off his win, sort of, over at the Fulton Speedway. Jason Sherman, apparently I told you to come up here. I don't remember that, but I'm glad you came. I mean, certainly with the schedule. Ben also able to make the trip. Ben, again, welcome. Life back to usual now for the welders with 85-degree temperatures, 160% humidity, bent over how much hot steel through the course of the day?
Sweat rolling off all sorts of parts.
Awesome. I hope you're as excited about this as we are. We've got some fun news to break. First things first, FingerLakes1.tv news, FingerLakes1.com news first. Local public access Finger Lakes 1 television has given a 2-hour block to FingerLakes1.tv, so you're going to be able to see local content from FingerLakes1.tv re-aired on Channel 12 in the Time Warner cable region here in the Finger Lakes. So a little bit closer. So you can imagine that there's obviously some implications that we've already talked about. The stuff just happened today, so I don't have any of those answers. But yes, when we get closer to the local fair Derby season, you will be able to see something in some way, shape, or form right at home when you click on Channel 12 from Yates County, Seneca County, Ontario County Fairs, which is
nice.
Which is pretty cool. Again, to what extent, how much, I can't answer those questions, but we are taking a good step forward with that. Oh, yeah, I got to wish happy birthday to Jeremy Gully. Josh Buell, mind you, that's Josh Buell, Joshbuell, asked for that to be mentioned tonight, so Jeremy, don't take that on us. And the other news that we've been working on this week is we're going to Utah on the 20th of June with the Kings of Destruction event with Jared Lazenby. Josh and Jared have been talking at length about that, and they were able to put that package together. Unfortunately, Ben isn't going to be making the trip with us.
No, I have a local show to do that.
Yes, you've got obligations here locally, but still exciting.
I won't miss the second one.
We'll know more. Maybe a second, maybe a third. We'll have to see what happens. Working on a couple different things, and I talked online with some other promoters, so it's the momentum keeps building, I guess you could safely say. A lot of people interested in what's coming down the line. We'll be talking with Jim Maloy tonight, Russ Clark from Smash It at the bottom of the show. Daryl Quter right around 6:20. We'll be getting Jim Maloy on the phone here in a little bit. We thought that he was going to be running Bash for Cash, but as it turned out, the Suicide Lincoln that we saw him run in Brookville was the car that he was supposed to be bringing to Bash for Cash. So a little bit of confusion there, but we're going to have Jim on nonetheless. Going to be a new guy to talk to. We haven't talked a lot about the Malloy family down there, and he had a good run with roughly 65 feet of duct tape holding the back of his Lincoln together down at Brookville.
I imagine he'll make an appearance at Mayhem.
I got to believe so.
He's usually you could bet money on that he's there every year. You know, he's definitely a very, very tough competitor out there.
But it was fun to see him. I know his boy Joey a little bit through some of the model communities, which was kind of cool that he went out there and did so well. Before we get into that leg of things, we got to talk to Todd Height, who makes a special appearance and a return to the podcast with sort of a win in your pocket a little bit. Went over to King Smash'em Crash'em's Demolition Derby. They had an eve of destruction at Fulton Speedway on Saturday, and Todd took part on the last possible minute with Ryan Deal, got in on the boat race, and for all intents and purposes won the thing, and then it got put to a fan vote, and there was some confusion on it, but ultimately the goal was everybody was go there, have fun, and Todd, my friend, you did that.
Yes,
all four
I
wheels
did.
off the ground a couple times?
Twice. Yes, that was a blast per se. I want to thank Ryan Deal for putting that together and letting me do it.
Now, did he have a car there too, or he let you drive his?
He let me drive his. That was his Subaru built car, and he handed me the keys. Said, go out and destroy it. Put on a show.
And fortunate enough that you were off work with all these new changes in your life as things continue to gain momentum and take some positive swings. You were able to get away and get there Saturday, and then of course it was great you were able to get here and not blown away by one of the microburst-ish tornado brewing thunderstorms that you came across on the thruway.
Yes.
Which was easier, driving on the thruway today or driving at Fulton?
Well, Fulton, you could run right in the back of them, and I kept thinking that on the way down. I said, geez, I wished I was back at that track. I could just get some road rage built up. And
They frown on that.
Yeah. That was fun down there. That was a lot of fun.
Now, Ryan, in private conversations, you can tell me where the story goes awry. He was quite proud of the since there was no specifics on how to attach the boat or trailer, whatever it might be, to your car.
Yeah.
He was pretty proud of the means which he had developed, and of course it was kept under careful wraps. I mean, what did you think about that, and above all, how did that work?
I thought the same thing everybody thought. The immediate reaction was, wow.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to come off. And
so
for the most
what
part,
did he do?
he had it plated inside, outside, 3/4 inch wire. Ran through the whole thing. It was
Ran through the whole bolt?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome.
Yes. It was very well built, and he should be proud of that.
Ben's stamp of approval.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
So he ran 3/4 inch cable around the entire perimeter. He was talking about how he was going to take plate and sandwich the sides of the boat,
And he did.
then take these basically half moon shaped loops and bolt use that
Muffler clamps.
Muffler clamps is what he ended up using.
Yes.
Go through both pieces of plate and run the cable through those,
yeah.
and just suck it right tight to the boat. And I bet there's a rule for that next year.
Well, either that or you're going to see a lot more doing it because that's the whole goal. That boat has to stay. It has to stay attached.
Yeah.
So I mean that's awesome. He really thought outside the box on that one. That's awesome.
So ingenuity alone should have got him first place, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then, I mean, obviously there were some unfortunate circumstances with Ryan injuring his neck in the off season. He defied a lot of odds as he went through his recovery process and the diagnosis, and then the recovery process. The vertebrae that he had injured in his neck was basically that was the hangman's vertebrae. That was the one that everybody tries to target, and he did it just so that he's in a very rare percentage that survives those accidents. And now he's at a point where he's even taking the neck brace off. Obviously, he wasn't driving there, but put the keys in very able hands, I suppose.
Yes. that car he wrecked, he got in the accident with, my teammate Mike Ritten, his daughter ran that car also that night in the youth derby.
Okay.
So we had both the Subarus, per se, Deal had owned, and did fairly well with them.
That's awesome.
Yep.
And then, did you get to watch any of the racing that night?
We watched some. Most of the part, you know me, I sit, stand, pace, walk around, get the butterflies. Yeah, I tend to get a little worked up before anybody will tell you that, but once the green flag drops, it's go time.
Josh Owen coming away with the adult 4 and 6 cylinder demolition derby win, and John Falston coming away with the youth win. Some new opportunities on the horizon for you. You told me about them. Unless I don't remember that conversation too.
No, you're correct.
You're going to be hanging up your demolition derby hat, never driving again, because you're going to be the next Carl Edwards.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
Oh.
My Uncle Dale lives down in the Fonda region, and he's been a race car driver for years. And he contacted me last night and asked me when I'm going to hang up the shoes for the derby and put my ass in a pure stock car. And he's got a brand new car. It hasn't been ran yet. He built it from the ground up, and
that's for competition at Fonda.
Yes, he wants me to go down there. You know, obviously it's too late in the year to try to do points or whatnot, but he's asked me to, after Kings of Old School, maybe to go down Fonda and get thrown to the Sharks.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
I'm kind of
awesome.
excited about it. So
How's your Kings of Old School ride coming?
yeah.
Hey, it's probably the same as everybody else.
Yeah.
They're bitching and complaining about when shit ain't going right. And
Yeah.
fixing this and something's going wrong and thinking this was good, and then next thing you know they're test driving it and the carburetors and everything else. But
it's not going like I want it to. But
I got my interiors out.
There's
Be busy Memorial
I
Weekend.
think that's what I mean. There's going to be a lot of people wrenching and doing a lot of work Memorial Day weekend for sure.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of work to be done. I know someone who isn't going to be doing any work on it is Brian Tompkins, because he's going to be in Ohio.
Yeah.
He's got a tall order in front of him. But again, Todd, congratulations again on the outing. Catman ended up going in the books in that bit of a confusing finish, but I mean, no harm, no foul. You got to go out there and
we had
have
fun.
a ball.
That was, like I said, in the Grand Volta things, to put on a show, and that's what we did. And I had a lot of fun.
People are going to remember Steal Your Face Racing over there in Fulton, huh?
We hope so. We hope so.
Awesome.
Yep.
Changing gears already in what is going to be a very fast-paced crash course tonight. We've got Jim Maloy joining us on the hotline. We learned late in the going, Jim, that you're not going to be at Bash for Cash with a car, but are you going to be going there in person all the same?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Awesome.
No doubt.
How tough is that going to be watching that show from the sidelines?
I'd rather take a car, of course. I just don't have time to build one that quick. And, the car I was building for it, I ended up taking up there to Keystone. And I was going to, if there was anything left of it, I was going to drag it up there, but ain't nothing left of it.
No, what was the deal with the duct tape around the back C-pillar?
When I came out of heat, they ripped the roof off the car.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we ended up wiring. There was wires underneath of that. We number 9 it down, and my buddies just did that just for laughs, I guess.
Well,
Make people talk.
it was mission accomplished. I mean, making people talk about it. It's like, what the heck is going on here?
Oh yeah, it was.
But
I don't know. They did it. I came back and I'm like, what is that? And they're laughing at me. I said, well, we'll go with it, I guess.
But
How it worked.
you've been a regular over there at Bash for Cash. You've been a regular at Metal Mayhem in years past. What is it about Bash for Cash that's drawing somebody from your neck of the woods in Pennsylvania over to that show, and likewise going all the way, halfway across the country to go take part in Metal Mayhem?
I mean, the money, and I think just to be, be competitive against, the top guys, and you figure if you can win a show like that, you'd be like the man, or you have bragging rights forever. Mm-hmm. But I just figured, I did pretty good around where I live, and I figured, I'm trying to step up and, try to beat the best of the best.
After you saw the growth that Bash for Cash enjoyed last year, I mean, you had a chance to be around that show as it's grown up to what it is now. This year, looking at it with over 500 entries, I think it's like 591 is where we're at right now, and that doesn't factor in the Power Wheels and lawnmowers, which was almost going to guarantee push it over 700. Did you think that the show would ever get to be that big, and how's that compared to, like as you alluded to, running around home?
It did grow pretty big, I guess.
700 is big.
Excuse me?
I said 700 would be big. I mean, it's an impressive turnout.
I mean, I went to the one out in Illinois for a few years, and I think the Bash for Cash is just as big or better. It seems like every year it just gets bigger and better. Mm-hmm. The money's there, and the guys are coming. So
it's one of those things that everybody wants to be part of it. Tech inspection runs almost all day Friday, and then we move into the qualifying heat program, which unto themselves are features. I mean, Ben, you were there with us last year. You saw what that was all like.
And I teched the year before.
Right.
So tech runs the day before.
I think I waited in line for like 7 hours to get my car checked in.
Yeah, I mean it's.
And I just about missed the deadline here, but I got it.
Now, how often is it, Ben? Having been through the tech inspector side of it, and Jim, this is for you too, having been a builder bringing a car through. How many cars get their stick on the first try at Bash for Cash?
None.
I don't hardly any of them. I
There
don't
was
think. You know.
there was one. There was one, and that was Barefoot Jim. Got it.
Oh, yeah.
Back in it was 2011, I think, 2012.
Wow.
Was Barefoot Jim. He was the only one.
I
that
remember.
got it.
I remember.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I've maybe had to cut a few things here and there, but usually one time for me.
We encounter that a lot when we go to Ohio.
It's fair, so
Yeah,
everybody
Sure.
go by their rules and it's fair. So I think that's a good thing.
That's one of the big things. You know, we've talked about this time and time over, Ben, is that it has to be fair and it has to be balanced.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last year we were watching cars go through inspection that were black when they entered the barn and they were pink coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the first my first ever experience with an Ohio Derby is the one year we all went out there and we sat there and watched cars go through the inspection line 15 times.
Whoa.
You know, and it was like something's got to be done, and then basically things got changed up. Russ and Tim took it over and changed it up quite a bit. I mean,
Right.
when you give these guys this three time through, you know, third time's a charm, if not load it type deal, it turns a lot of people's heads on. They don't monkey around, you know, with the half cut this and half cut that, try to get away with it.
Right.
You know, they're gonna fix it right the first time, but that really expedites the inspection process, you know.
Sure.
Because I mean, years ago it'd be like, here he comes again, here he comes again, here he comes again. You know, then next thing you know, the Derby's going to start in 15 minutes, and you got 30 cars left that got to come through. You know, and who's to say they're going to make it through? You know,
Right.
9 times out of 10 they made it through, just to start the show. You know, and that's why a lot of these guys get away from that now. It just makes it fair. You know, instead of having the late guys come in and we'll play the late game because we'll know they'll send their car through so they can start the show on time. Well, that doesn't
Right.
that shit don't fly anymore. You know, you're gonna come through late, you might end up sitting on the trailer.
Well, that's just it. I mean, you've got a situation where you've got so many cars already pre-registered that if you're going to play the game and try and squeeze something through based on the clock, they just don't need you to mess around. You know, There's no need for you to be stinking up the show. It just doesn't matter.
Well, that and if it's just blatant, you know, if it's blatant, just flat out blatant cheating, then they don't mess with it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know what, that's just full out kind of like middle finger in our face type deal and put it on a trailer. You know,
Right.
We're not going to deal with you.
So after taking this year off, Jim, you going to try and get back to Bash for Cash next year?
Yeah, I probably will. I mean, I even thought about just throwing something together just to go.
You should.
I just entered for the wire class, so it would be a pretty easy build.
Yeah, you got 3 days.
Yeah, you got 3 days. That's plenty of time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But last 3 years I ran a normal class, and it was pretty tough in that class.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if I get any ambition, maybe I will throw a car together and go. But
That'd be great.
I'm going to be up there no matter what. So.
What's the rest of your season look like? You following the whole Reckless Warriors point tour?
Yeah, I'm probably just going to run some stuff around here, and that's probably about it. I think I'm getting to the point where I'm getting tired of building cars, especially to like the way how you got to build them today to compete. It's a lot of extra work.
All it takes.
I was glad that they went back. Some of these shows are going back to like a stock show that you could throw a car together, fairly quick and not a whole lot of welding and stuff. So.
About 3 days.
I'm probably more likely just going to go up and relax and watch.
Yeah.
When was the last time you actually had the opportunity to just go relax and watch a derby? 1981.
Very often.
Well, if he's like any other derby driver, they go to watch a derby, they're not relaxing and watching. They're chomping a bit saying, shit, I should have built a car.
Yeah.
That's just, I can't. I love watching them and everything else, but I can't just sit there and watch
Yeah.
it. I'm all over. I
Ben-
got to be involved somewhere or another.
Ben loses his voice
I
fast.
help my buddies put something back together or something after a heat or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Ben loses his voice faster watching a derby than he does working one
Yeah.
because he's telling every driver on the track what they're doing wrong.
No, I'm not like
He's
that. I
he's
don't tell them
shouting,
what to do. No.
shouting as loud as he can. The lament of not having built a car because he could have easily walked away with a win.
No. I'm
'Cause-
not saying that either. My name's not P. Hansen.
Oh no!
And especially after you drank a couple of beers, you really,
That's why I don't drink when I go to derbies.
So I mean, you're a bit of a thing of legend out in your neck of the woods, Jim. How many wagons do you have left at this point?
I have about 7 or 8 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
That's one of my favorite cars to run.
your favorite flavor of a wagon? Buick Estate.
I actually like the Pontiac wagons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, for some reason they're a little harder to build because of the clips, but
Yeah.
it seems like it's harder to rip the front end off of them than a regular, most of the other ones.
Right.
I think the raffle car last year was a Pontiac wagon, wasn't it? At Bash for Cash? Or was that Brookville's car?
Could have been.
Was Brookville Keystone National's car was a Pontiac?
Yeah.
And
I
they
think that
put a
Keystone-
they did the clip trick like what Jim was talking about.
Yeah.
7 or 8.
Yeah.
So that's good enough for summer. No, nobody.
No.
A lot of crickets.
That's good for a few years. Ohio built.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Jim, man, appreciate you coming on the show and talking with us for a little while. We look forward to catching up with you in person out there at Bash for Cash. We're going to be set up at the Sciopa tent all weekend long. Be sure if you get a chance, stop by and say hi. We'll try and track you down. But is there anybody, before we let you go, that you want to make mention of that helped you get that car together for Brookville or could potentially be called in off the bench to get that wire class car done for Saturday?
Probably like guys I use in my pit crew, like Charlie Post and Jack Clark, or my son Joey Malloy.
Mm-hmm.
But probably I get them a couple cases of beer. They might come out here and help me throw something together.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing you one way or the other, and I hope that you bring a trailer that's full with a wire class car out there to Ohio. We would love to see that happen.
Oh, I would too. Maybe I'll get some ambition and throw something together and go.
All right.
There you go.
Well, Jim, man, I appreciate you coming on the show tonight. We're going to be catching up with Daryl Quter here in just a few minutes. Jim, thanks a lot. Good luck this week, and travel safe. We'll see you this weekend.
All right, thank you.
See you later, man. There goes Jim Maloy, former runner over there at the Bash for Cash, former runner over there at Metal Mayhem, and hopefully, this has lit a fire under him, and we'll see him in a wire class car here this weekend. We're going to tell you a little bit about what we've just been talking about for the last few minutes,
And you
we'll
thought
be right
last
back.
year was huge. The Bash for Cash returns to the Demolition Derby Limelight Memorial Day Weekend 2015. Every bit of action is returning, and there's some more added in. DerbyParts.com is back with the 80s and newer class, paying $11,000 to win. DerbyTees.com is back, paying the turn back the clock winner $10,000. And now the Compacts are cashing in, vying for at least $3,000 in their championship event. Action is planned for May 23rd and 24th, again at the Fayette County Fairgrounds in Washington Courthouse, Ohio. Early inspections are planned for Friday, May 22nd. For a full rundown of the schedule and divisions, visit www.smashitderby.com. Are you good enough to be recognized as a reckless warrior? Bo Lockwood Motorsports' 2015 Demolition Derby schedule will now be combined into the Reckless Warrior Tour, designed to give rewards and recognition to drivers that support Bo Lockwood Motorsports. The schedule starts at the 5,000 to win Superstock Championships May 9th at the Jefferson County Fairgrounds in Brookville, Pennsylvania. The tour then goes to the Keystone Nationals, which has moved to the Westmoreland County Fairgrounds June 27th. The Jefferson County Fair Championships follows, with the limited roll cars back in the limelight as they chase a $3,000 payday in Brookville, with the Reckoning 2 following on August and heat and feature finishes, with bonuses awarded for passing inspection and getting a stick on the first try. The season will end with a points banquet where Bo Lockwood Motorsports will crown the deadliest warrior. That driver will then have his selection of one of the 10 prizes from the Reckless Warrior partners. For more details on the 2015 Reckless Warriors Tour, visit their Facebook page or check out blmotorsports.net. The Crash Course would like to thank DerbyParts.com, an industry leader in aftermarket parts. DerbyParts.com has become the go-to source for builders looking to make one stop for all their derby needs. A proud partner of the Reckless Warrior Series and a title sponsor at the Bash for Cash, DerbyParts.com offers products from the top manufacturers in the industry, including fellow Reckless Warriors partners Brian Muir and Big Rock Derby products, and performance aftermarket standouts MSD, Edelbrock, Schonfeld, and Samson tires. Inventory includes cradles, ultra belts, sliders, flex plates, pedal kits, mounts, fans, radiators, adapters, tanks, and much, much more. DerbyParts.com truly offers one-stop shopping for builders ready to perform at any level. Go online and check them out from bumper to bumper. You can find it on DerbyParts.com.
And we are back working on the fly. We're still waiting on Daryl Quter to either turn his phone on or realize that it's us calling him. So I talked with Tim Clark a little bit earlier, and since his schedule was a little full, he volunteered his brother Russ to come on the podcast tonight. So we just told Russ about it when we called him. Hey, Russ, how's everything going?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
We're doing great. You all ready for this weekend?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
Yeah, we think so. I think we are.
That's a surprisingly calm answer.
Every year it gets a little bit easier. Seems like.
That's good, right?
Yeah, it's a good thing.
So what? At this point, what's left to do?
Just paperwork, transport stuff down to the fairgrounds. We'll be doing that every night this week. Setting things up there. Just little odds and ends things on our end.
I mean, at this point, does the show move into sort of autopilot? You've done this enough times, and you've done this enough times over at this particular venue to where it sort of moves into cruise control, or does it still take a lot of logistics?
No, actually, at this point, like you said, it's kind of like an autopilot thing. We've done it enough now where we just know what has to be done, when it has to be done, and it's just going through the motions and getting it done.
This week.
But this week, always something happens. Something comes up that we don't expect. I mean, you deal with them as they come up, though.
That's just what I was going to ask you next. Is what is the most difficult part of this week when things move into autopilot? What's the big hiccup through the course of this week?
The big hiccups are just unexpected things. I mean, weather, which I don't think we're going to have to deal with it much this year. It's supposed to rain here today, but it hasn't. People would call, say they can't work, it's scheduled to work, things like that. We don't have too much of it, but you're always ready for anything to happen.
Yeah. All that's left is Friday to look out and go, oh shit, look at all them cars we got to do.
Oh, no, you tend not to think of that.
Yeah.
If I start thinking that now,
Yeah.
it's insane by the time Friday comes.
Yeah.
So
As long as it's not as hot as the face of the sun this year, you guys will be good to go. I mean, it'd be nice. I said, as long as it's not as hot as the face of the sun this year, you guys would be all right. I mean, you gotta get some slack one of these years with the weather. Nice 70-degree day'd be perfect.
Well, I looked at the forecast, and the forecast is mid-70s through this week.
Nice.
Like 80 on Sunday. Calling for a chance of rain late Sunday, but we're hoping to have the show over and done. But you know how weathermen are.
Oh yeah.
Tell me they can't tell me what it's going to do today.
No.
That's also true. I mean, that's accurate. In terms of the schedule on Friday, what time are you guys opening inspection up?
We're going to start inspecting cars at 9 o'clock Friday morning.
And you're going to go straight through until 11 o'clock Friday night?
About midnight.
Well, last year we started at 10. We planned on being done around midnight. Ended up stopping about 1:30.
Yep. Wow. Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep.
That's a long day.
And every car...
We try to get as much done as we can on Friday,
Yeah.
to try to make Saturday a little bit easier on us.
Does Friday come with increasingly more pressure the later in the day you get as guys get through tech inspection and their cars go into impound in a situation where now everybody, the pressure's off, they're through, and you get more and more drivers congregating outside of the inspection lines, hanging around cars. You get a little bit more infiltration of drivers moving into the inspection bay. Does that pressure, is that something that's palpable to you guys? Do you feel it? Are you cognizant of it, or you just kind of work past it?
You just kind of work past it. You kind of put it out of your mind. I mean, that's why you spend, some of your time chasing people away, because try to get drivers back a little bit, people back, so they're not right on top of you. But you try to put that, out of your mind. You just do your job the same way you started doing it all the way through. Don't do anything different. Look at every car the same,
That's when you call for...
You try not to, talk to, let the drivers that talk to you and stuff, but you try not to let that bother you any.
Right.
You try not to think of it.
That's when you call Tim on the golf cart in.
yeah.
He's a diversion tactic.
Well, I mean, they're pretty good. I mean, like Friday, you guys were there last year. We inspected that building on Friday, so it keeps us a nice area to keep. It's easy to keep people out of there.
Yep.
Now Saturday, when we go down in the pits, that's when they tend to kind of crowd you a lot, and so Friday's not too bad.
Not too bad.
No.
You're inspecting cars for 16 hours. It's not that bad.
It's not smooth concrete either.
No, Ben always brings this up.
It's not smooth concrete floor that they're inspecting on. It's a brushed concrete floor. So imagine that when it's 80 degrees.
But that makes it interesting.
Oh yeah, it does. There's no sliding underneath cars.
Well, I actually have to go pick up a bunch of cardboard that, I'm getting it from where I work.
Yep.
Big 4x8 sheets of cardboard where we can lay it down, and that's going to ease it up some for us.
Absolutely.
But that brushed concrete floor is relentless when you're on it 16 hours.
Yeah.
You're just shy of Adirondack chairs, AstroTurf, and lemonade sitting there in the inspection line.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing that, a lot of people don't think about is when you get started, you're kind of focused on what you're doing, and the next thing you know, it's midnight, 1 o'clock, you haven't ate all day, you're like, damn, I'm hungry, and there's nothing around.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
And what is around, you shouldn't have on an empty stomach.
No. There's lots of beverages floating around, so you got to eat before you get one of those.
Poor Russ.
But it should be a good time.
Yeah.
I think so. What, you going to venture out on any limbs in terms of picking winners for this year?
I don't.
Raffle car, Russ. Just say the raffle car. That'll help you.
I mean, the raffle car.
There you go.
We finally got it done just the other day.
Mm-hmm.
We've been dragging our feet on it, and we had it built, but just fine tuning it, things like that.
Well, that's a hell of a raffle car. Nice wagon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the winner should like it. They get to keep it.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, that was the case last year.
Yeah.
Wow.
You remember that last year?
Yep. Yep.
I mean, this is no slouch of a derby car either.
No, it's. I'd have a tough time running it because I know I'd bring it back here and just kick the shit out of everybody with it.
You got one there.
Stipulation, you have to run it.
Well, I'd run it.
Yeah, and then
the raffle car itself, it has an engine built by Ziz.
Yep.
It has Neurac slider shaft in it. It has the gas pedal, shifter, extreme engine cradle by Big Rock, new aluminum radiator with deck, new headers.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm forgetting stuff. It has an 8-lug, a Dana 60 with the 513 gear, solid suspension.
And all that goes home with the person that wins it. All of it. It's not like you pull the motor out and you just take the shell. The whole thing goes home with them. So you win it.
The only thing they don't get to keep is our Smash It roof sign.
Right.
Everything else. It has brand new doubles from Hayes Tires, front and back.
Yeah.
So whoever wins it keeps the whole thing except for our roof sign.
Yeah,
That's it.
It's definitely nice. It's no slouch of a car. I mean, it's a top-notch car.
So Ben wins the raffle car. Ben goes out and the high end on the throttle brakes on the pedal setup in the bottom. So The car's virtually fresh. It just broke. It was an accidental thing that didn't get checked. So now Ben brings his whole fresh wagon home.
Yeah.
That's the story, and he's sticking to it.
See, the only problem with that is it has the R&R gas pedal in it, and I know it's not going to break because it's a quality product.
Obviously, that's more of a story than it is a fact.
Yes.
You know, R&R's got great stuff, but that is exactly the story that Ben is going to tell if he's ever sitting in that something happened to the throttle linkage or something like that happened, so we can bring a fresh car home and lump up on everybody for a year.
Now, actually, truth to be known, what would happen if Ben would win it? He would get out there.
Here we go.
And you guys would be telling him, I'll take it home with you. And he's going to run the crap out of it on that track.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And he's going to take a junk wagon home with all the good stuff in it.
Absolutely, Russ. You're 100% right.
Chris did bring up Broken Hyman, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely right. There's no way I could go out there. If I won that, there's no way I could go out there and not run it.
Run it.
I mean, it would
not run it wide open.
Yeah, I mean, I'd pin it. I mean, it just.
That's a great package though for somebody, especially a stock driver, to
Yep.
get it all in one shot on a raffle. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Which slider's in that?
Near it.
It's a near.
It came from the slider came from Derby Parts.
Yeah.
He supplies a lot of stuff for it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a near-at slider.
Mm-hmm.
And, and it has top quality parts from front to back in it.
Yeah.
Vendors that I got them listed on a website. I know I'm forgetting some off the top of my head, and I apologize to them up front.
That's all right. You didn't even know you were going to be on tonight.
No, just until about 20 minutes ago when Tim called me and said, hey, they'll be calling you. You ready?
Well, last year that raffle car had a great run.
Yes.
I mean, that thing left there. It was wore out.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude got his money's worth out of it and then some because he got to take the thing home.
Yeah.
It was a fun time. We're looking forward to it. I mean, it's always a good time to see pretty much everybody in one spot, and then we get to hang out with the Sciopas. We'll be there all weekend long, and it's gonna be a good time. I know Big Rock is gonna be stopping by. They're gonna be spending some time with us over at the Sciopa tent, and they told us that we got to go over to their tent. So maybe what we might do, maybe we'll just bring everything over and do a live show from Big Rock's tent. Why not? We just got to pick the table up and go. How hard is it?
If you want to see a bunch of Derby cars, this is a place to be this coming weekend, Washington Courthouse, Ohio.
Yeah.
We have right around 500 entries. All the classes we have this year are full, so it'll be a great show.
It's gonna be the best.
And you're not just going to see a limited weld show. You know what I mean? You're getting all different levels of build. The wire class, the limited weld, the smash it class, the trucks. It's definitely. I mean, it's the one stop shop basically.
If you like a particular style of derby,
you have everything from the street stock class where you take the glass out of it and derby it.
Yep.
You can't do anything to the car.
Looking at you,
to
Todd
the
Height.
80s mod cars and everything in between. Trucks, compact cars, everything.
Dumpster mowers.
Yes.
But
mowers
mowers,
like dumpsters.
Power wheels will be Saturday at 3:30. Mowers will be right after that.
Yeah.
And
the derby starts Saturday at 5, and Sunday morning we start at 11 with the consolations, and then go into the other heats.
Actually, Russ, you're not exactly right on that. At 10:30, the RC Demolition Derby guys are taking the track before you get everything going.
See, I told you I'd forget something. I'm actually at the garage getting stuff ready down. So at home, I'd have all that stuff written down for me so I don't forget anything.
That's why we like doing it live. To you. I don't know if you've noticed this, Ben. The RC guys, there's a payout of 300, 200, 100, and a 3-foot trophy waiting for first place. Those are for RC cars.
Nice.
Go big or go home, right?
Absolutely.
Well, we
awesome.
Look at this weekend as everybody that derbies anything matters.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Great.
So,
Great attitude.
that's why we have so many classes. That's why we're going with the RC cars.
Yep.
Everyone in the derby world has their place.
Mm-hmm. There's guys coming out of Virginia that aren't even big derby guys. They're big RC guys, and they're bringing their cars from Virginia across Virginia into Ohio just to come and check out Bash for Cash and run their RC cars and stay for the day. How crazy is that?
Yep.
It's awesome.
They won't be disappointed.
The reach just keeps growing for Bash for Cash, man. I appreciate it. I can't wait to see you guys this weekend. We're looking forward to it, and I know you're going to be busy this week. Be sure you stay safe when you're getting everything ready.
Oh, we're always safe. I was going to tell you we're just sitting in a recliner, drinking wine, having a good time, but
not true.
They believe that.
Nobody for a minute is going to believe that. But,
one thing I do want to say while I'm on here.
Go for
one
it.
thing we got to do. We need to thank all the drivers and all the fans that's coming out this weekend. Without them, derbies wouldn't be around, and we really appreciate what they do.
That's what it's all about.
Yep.
Giving the drivers the recognition they deserve, man. You got Derby Parts putting up money for the, there's $11,000 for one class. You got Derby Tees putting up $10,000 for the other class. You can watch it on pay-per-view. I mean, it's set a very high bar for derbies all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have Joker that gave, for the old Iron Wire class, he gave us a 74 Impala and
That's right.
$1,000 for the Mad Dog.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the 74 Impala is clean.
That's right.
So we've got to thank him, all the other vendors that's coming in, like I said, drivers, and the fans coming out, and the people who work for us. I mean, this weekend's really hard on everybody, but we'll get through it.
Mm-hmm.
Get done a little early inspecting cars this year so I can spend more time in the campgrounds and, I won't have to be out until 5:30 in the morning.
There you
go. That's I remember that story from last year. Basically, Russ got to take about a 25-minute nap before he had to be up and ready to go for Saturday's program.
Mm-hmm.
It was nuts. But as you said, you'll power through it one Wreck Crown Vic at a time.
That's right. And, I can go without sleep for a couple days. 2-3 days, I'm fine.
Red Bull.
That's right.
Lots of Red Bull.
Jason swears by Red Bull. I don't know. Russ, do you get any of that stuff? You just drink coffee.
Coffee's for old people.
Coffee's for old people.
That's it.
Fair enough. Well, I know you got more stuff that you got to get to tonight. I appreciate you being a good sport, coming on. It was always a pleasure talking to you, and certainly we wish you the best this weekend, and we'll see you down there.
We'll see you this weekend.
All right, Ross. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
There goes Russ Clark, co-promoter with Smash It Demolition Derbies. Bash for Cash coming up this weekend. Inspection opens bright and early, 9 o'clock on Friday. Goes until basically dawn on Saturday morning, and then they start again with inspection again crazy early on Saturday as they move towards the qualifying heat program on Saturday, and then kicking off at 10:30 with the RC cars, and then 11 o'clock with the regular divisions that go all day Sunday, and it is a spectacle. I mean, you cannot believe what it looks like when you walk around the pits there, and just you are tripping over demolition derby cars. There's just no place left to put them, and they've added divisions for this year, and they've added money for this year, and they've added and added. It just continues to grow, and it is an absolute spectacle. You got to make sure you get out there. We're going to be getting Daryl Quter here in just a few minutes. We got to tell you about a few more of the folks that help keep our program going. So take a quick look at this, and we'll be right back.
Travel back to the good old days of Demolition Derby at the 2015 Kings of Old School, presented by Goodies Graphics and GN Auto Corp. The Kings of Old School will be held June 6th at the Broome County Fairgrounds in Whitney Point, New York. The Old School class is drawing drivers from across the United States, with new drivers signing up and past champions coming out of retirement to take part in the show with rules written the way the Northeast Derby community wants them to be. The headline Old School class will pay $22.50 to win and will be run in a heats and feature format. The 80s newer kids class filled in less than 6 hours once registration opened. The winners in the division will enjoy a share of a $3,000 purse. The card also includes compacts and junk run divisions. Inspection opens at 8 a.m. Derby action begins at 2. Call Brett Relier at 607-327-2705 or Josh Decker at 607-725-2194 for details. With rule questions, call Mark Benjamin at 607-215-2149. That's the Kings of Old School, June 6th, Broome County Fairgrounds, Whitney Point, New York. Demo Derby Masters offers a wide array of stock derby parts and accessories that have all been derby tested. Demo Derby Masters also offers custom fabrication, meaning your homespun garage idea can become a finely produced reality. Their team of engineers and Demo Derby drivers have designed, manufactured, and derby tested all parts to ensure quality and durability, even under extreme conditions. DemoDerbyMasters.com also carries a full line of helmets, fire suits, gloves, belts, and Kaiser's own branded oils and fluids. Parts are manufactured, housed, and shipped out of their 140,000 square foot facility located in Coopersville, Michigan. Order online at DemoDerbyMasters.com or contact them by phone at 800-472-2464 or email info@DemoDerbyMasters.com. And we're back. We've got the one and only Daryl Quter joining us here on the DerbyParts.com hotline. Man, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for joining us. Daryl's a bit of a unique situation compared to some of those other guys that we've talked about going out there at the Bash for Cash, and a lot of those guys are buying a lot of the aftermarket parts. Daryl is a guy who will go out into the garage and even at this level is building all of his own stuff. You know, he sees it one time, can basically remember what it looks like and figure out the improvements that he wants to make to apply to his own projects and build his own stuff. And I think that's awesome that you're going out there and that you're tackling it this way. I don't know how many people out there are still doing it that way at this level, Ben. I mean,
no, there's still a few that do it. I mean, it's if I was going out there to run there, I'd be doing the same thing. I mean, yeah, there is certain parts that I would have to buy, but
your washers, your wheel centers.
Well, wheel centers I'd make myself. You know, I'd make everything. You know, except for a slider. You know what I mean? A slider I'd probably have to buy. I mean, engine cradles, everything else I'd build myself. I love that there's still people out there that do it, and
absolutely,
and that have the confidence of going to the bigger shows and have confidence in what they do. I mean, that's what started this all.
Yep.
You know, is people doing that. You know.
Daryl, man, some kind words coming from Ben. What do you think?
Oh, I think it's great. I don't even have a garage. We build with a piece of cardboard laying out in the gravel driveway.
There you go. There you go.
The old West Virginia creeper. You know how it is.
Guilty.
Todd's still saving up to buy one of those.
Yeah, guilty.
Yeah.
But what are you bringing out this weekend?
75 Caddy.
Nice. Can't go wrong with there.
We've watched for years, and my wife and boys always want me to run, and I said, to heck with it. We're going to give it a shot. We might be underbuilt, but we're going to try.
Right.
There you go.
Are you going out there just to put it to the wood and let everybody know that you're there? Or are you going to go out there and try and run for the money?
I only run for the wood. That's all I ever run for.
There you go.
So how much of the stuff that you build do you have to rebuild and fix in the pits?
A few things. I don't even have a slider shaft, believe it or not.
Really?
I just took the one out of an old Chevy truck. It's got the little slider end on it. We built one, and that's what I'm running.
Yep, that's what we call old school right there.
Wow.
There you go. Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's the mindset with this stuff? I mean, obviously you've got some confidence in your abilities and things like that. You want to go out there and you put on a show. Do you have any guys on the periphery looking at what you're doing in terms of building your own parts and not going with a slider and stuff like that, saying, man, you're crazy. You don't have a chance?
Yes, everybody tells me that all the time. There's some guys that's taking my ideas and running them. They think it's a heck of an idea.
Yep.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
Plus, if you're building your own stuff, you know what you have. You know how things work, and you know what's going on. When you buy a part, you're relying on somebody else's welds, and how do you fix it if you don't understand it?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I mean, I look at stuff and then I build it. It might not look the best, but it works.
Absolutely. That's all that matters. As long as it functions, that's and works and does what you want it to do. That's what matters.
Perfect.
That's right. I just don't have that kind of money to sink in like these other guys. But I want to just go out and run.
Mm-hmm.
How big of a jump is it going from what you're used to in your home area there in Pennsylvania to what you're jumping into over there at Bash for Cash this year?
It's a little different, like the hump plates and all of that, but basically it's about the same.
Mm-hmm.
Just I'm going up against a little more high-dollar people, that's all.
They're going to bend just the same, right?
That's right. See, I run where Malloy does, Iopas, Jesse Kunkel. I'm from that area.
Right. Yeah, the neck of the woods in Pennsylvania that you live in is populated with some pretty stout drivers. I mean, you've certainly not come up with any soft pass or anything along those lines.
That's right. Josh Coombs, I run with him. So, I get in there. I get to battle with some of the big boys.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've got a lot of people in New York at this point that are pulling for you since you announced that you're going to be going.
I need all the help I can get.
Are
It's just going to have one sponsor,
so and who's that?
I have nobody. It's just me and my family. We do everything. Me and my boy build the car right here in the driveway and go.
And is your
awesome.
is your boy going to be driving out there too? Is Darren going to have a car?
Oh no, he's 15. He's getting his feet wet. He's wanting to try it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if you might be thinking about throwing a youth car together for him.
We thought about it, but I have no way to haul everything.
Tip it upside down, straddle it between the bed of the pickup and the nose of the car you're running, the Cadillac.
Hook it to a chain, drag it behind the trailer.
There you go,
Yep,
perfect.
Tow chain.
That's it. Tandem.
We're gonna be getting Darren's hopes up. We keep on this too much.
Daryl.
I'd step down and let him run in my place if he wanted to. He's ready.
There you go.
I mean,
If I was a 15-year-old kid, I'd be saying, "Okay, Dad, I can deal on that one."
put your money where your mouth is, Pops. Where's the keys?
Even though I was going to be on there, he's the one that set me up for this.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. He completely pulled it over. I had the roles reversed, not gonna lie, and I was setting everything up with Darren to come on the show, and at the last minute he goes, "My dad's the one you want to talk to. Here's his number."
Yes, I'm a very low key. I don't like to be, I like to stay very low key. Then he throws this on me.
I know. Had we planned this better, had we planned this out a little bit better, this would have worked out well for a couple weekends from now in June, where we had the son set it up for the dads. We had Joey Maloy setting it up for Jim, and then we had Daryl.
Yes.
Daryl was
Joey,
brought
there's
on
a character.
after setting it up with his boy. So it would have been a nice Father's Day episode. So premature. We're doing Memorial Day anyway. It's all gonna be a good time. What day you guys getting into town? You trying to get in early Friday so you're
I'll
through
be there
inspection
Friday
done?
morning. I want to try to get through inspection to see what I have to change early.
Did you build the Cadillac Ohio style, where you build how you want and just bring torches and you're ready to cut?
I just bring torches and do it the way I want, then I cut.
Yeah. Might be able to add stuff.
Yeah.
That's right. It's better to cut than not to have enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, your mindset's right for Bash for Cash.
Actually, I'm bringing Jesse Kunkel's old car.
Really?
Yes, I bought that car off of him and did some work to it, and that's what I'm bringing because I didn't have time
Wait a
to
second.
build a whole car.
Bought
His Blizzard Bash car?
No, the car he ran at Bash for Cash last year.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Gotcha.
There you go.
So Todd's wheels are over here spinning. Every time we talk about the cars and the counts and the builds and all this other stuff, you don't know what to make of this.
Well, I mean, as far as building stuff at home on your own, I know that Steve Humphreyville, my teammate, Mike Ritton, they fabricate absolutely everything.
Mhm.
And you're going to see some of our stuff, hope it works out for the better, but...
Let's rephrase that. You're going to make them cut some of their stuff. Go on.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty
I've gotten
sure...
I've gotten several messages.
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
mean, but it's what they got done so far.
We're
looks real
trying,
good.
we're
Yeah,
trying,
yeah.
and we're not big, but we try to do our best. And the same thing, you see something, you try to mock it and hope that it holds up, and that's where we're at this year. Coming up and running outside of Herkimer, it's been a big jump for us. So
You've had a chance to get out on the road a little bit now, and how bad do you want to get to Ohio at this point?
I really like to, but I
know it's not. I know it's not in the cards. I mean, we don't need
just to watch.
Yeah.
It was cool going down to PA and watching that Bo Lockwood show, but I gotta get that Coos vehicle going. It's gotta be built.
King's Old School.
Yeah.
Actually, that might be right up Daryl's alley there, because I hear a rumor that in the King's Old School class, whoever does the best with a stock drive shaft is going to get an E2 slider, gets a free slider.
Gets a free
Yes.
slider.
So come on up, Daryl, and bring your drive shaft up, and you might win a free slider.
Yeah, there you go. I need that.
That's funny.
Yeah, there's very few people that's willing to go in there with the big boys like me and run with what I got.
Mm-hmm.
Reminds me a lot of Jason down at the art gallery, where they do up the Jason runs with he runs Stoneboro a lot down in that neck of the woods. Jason Sauer, and he's got that art gallery down in Pittsburgh, and they do up a car and they go across the country and just kind of increase awareness of demolition derby and stuff. He's a real cool dude, and he does a lot of the same thing at Stoneboro. He takes a stock car that he's got a little bit of time into, that he knows full well is going to get waffled, and he just goes out there and holds it to the floor, and there's still guys that are like that just want to go out. He takes out with the modifies, no less, and just sends it. But that's
takes as many with you as you can.
That's right. So after Bash for Cash, what have you got planned for this summer?
I'm going to run some local derbies. I'd like to try to get into a couple of the Bo Lockwood shows too.
Yes,
Sweet.
good answer.
That's I'm going to try it. Westmoreland, that's just up the road from me, but I don't know if I'm going to get a car ready for that or not.
That Westmoreland show is coming up.
That's
the Keystone Nationals itself at Greensburg.
Yep.
And then we've got the Jefferson County Fair at the end of July, and then Clarion after that, and then they wrap everything up that first weekend of September, the 4th and 5th at Stoneboro with. That's the season ender. The point standings are out. Mike DeFrecia leading the point standings of the Reckless Warriors Tour at this point. Bonus points played in well. Tiffany Hahn also inside the top 10. I saw she was up there, but those that getting through tech on the first try and those heat points, that is definitely paying off for some of those folks that are out there banking those in the Reckless Warrior Tour.
Today, and he's fired up, boy. He's building his next car right now.
Who's
all in for this point series.
Yes, he is. Yeah, he's all about that.
He's got his car. He's been working on it. He's ready.
Those guys only build about. They've slowed down some. I think they're down to building 60 cars a year. They stay plenty busy over that neck of the woods, and we're anxious to see the Sciopas, who they plan on running the full tour as well. We're going to see them this weekend out there at the Bash for Cash as well, along with another 695 of our closest friends. It's going to be a good time. Really looking forward to that. So, around home, what's your favorite show to run?
I like to run the Croucher derbies, the local affairs. He's got that finale. I run it.
Gordon.
I'll run his a lot.
Gordon Crushore is the gentleman that Daryl's talking about, and he's a ton of fun. Have you ever had a chance to meet him, Ben?
I've heard of him. I've never actually personally met him.
I was introduced to him last year at Bash for Cash with the Sciopas. They brought him into the big top, and they had him sitting down, and they were talking to him a little bit. And as I sat there and listened a little bit, they were in the process of helping him learn the fouls and successes of his rule book.
Oh yeah.
and that poor boy couldn't get away.
No.
But he was a real good dude. And he's got a number of derbies down there. He's really exploded on the scene down in your part of the state.
Yes. I run every derby for him that I can.
Did you go to New Alex was this weekend, I think, wasn't it? Last weekend?
No, I was working on my car. I didn't get to go.
Okay.
Coriato won that.
Yeah. Josh did pretty well over there at that. And we saw, I don't remember what town it was, but Don Santel ran another stock show and ended up finishing second place overall in that one. Wendell Bowman keeps us fairly up to date on what's going on with his entire team. He sort of looks out for his boys and lets us know. And then we got to give congratulations to our buddies Matt Schilling and Dylan Kunkel coming away with a win in the Cyclone Mania show out there in Iowa, which was good for those guys. They had a pretty good show, all things considered. They had to battle some track condition issues, but you can't control the weather, man. It's one of those deals, and they came away with a win, so it was good to see those guys pulling down a victory. You ever do anything with that? Daryl, you ever try the team show format?
Yes, I actually have ran some team shows, but just around here. I ran Carrollton, Ohio.
Okay.
I ran a couple of shows out there, and then there was a promoter in West Virginia. We actually won that team derby. It was a five-man team. We went and won it.
Nice.
You mentioned West Virginia a couple times now. Are you going to be getting down to Big Sandy here at the beginning of December with Top Dog Promotions indoor show?
I'll probably go watch.
Yeah?
I'd love to run down there. I've always wanted to, but last time I talked to somebody, they said that show's already pretty much full.
It is.
There's always room on a wait list. You never know what's going to happen.
I need to get on the wait list, take my homemade stuff, and go.
There you go.
Atta boy.
There's a big waiting list.
Ben put his name in, and he's 257th.
Really?
No, I ran down there 3 years in a row. We all went down from New York. There's two of us that went down for the first year, and then three of us went the last 2 years, and we had a hell of a lot of fun down there.
We're looking forward to that. I mean, the season it's crazy. I mean, we got that show's indoors. We've got the week before that. There's Amarillo down in Texas, and who knows? Maybe we'll plan a Thanksgiving trip.
Sweet.
And then we've got. Then I'm not joking, man. I got to talk to you after the show.
Okay.
A couple weeks before that, we've got Blizzard Bash.
Blizzard Bash, yep.
Which were you following along
That's
on all
now
this stuff?
4 days.
Which is 4 days now,
Yep.
and there's a lot of rumor going around about who that fourth person is that's going to be on Songolowski and Brodzinski's team with Pete Hansen. We still haven't been able to confirm, but it is sounding more and more like Daryl Monroe is back with Underdogs.
Yep.
We're going to be running with the defending champions Brent Clemens and all those guys, which that's going to be a ton of fun to watch. The Fantasy League is back up on its feet. That's going to happen for this year, and I think this year the Fantasy League is going to be 6 drivers, not 4. You have to pick. You have to listen to this. You ready? You have to pick 4 drivers from the main draw, and 2 drivers from the at-large pool.
Oh, wow.
And the tiebreakers are all going to be you have to pick the winners of the other classes.
Yeah.
So it gets all the drivers involved, which is going to be a lot of fun
Cool.
as that takes shape. And then a couple weeks before that, in October, Sturgis, Kentucky, Brandon Dixon, they've got an indoor show that's a team format, and their bracket's already full.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got lots of postseason action. There is no shortage of activity going on. Once the weather turns, we'll just bring the derbies inside, and the season never stops.
Nope.
Sweet.
Year round.
Ben, how excited are you for that?
Oh, that's a dream. you know what I mean. I always said if I didn't have to worry about money, if I was set with money, I'd build derby cars for whoever. I mean, I'd just build them and run them myself, build them for other people, and just hit every derby possible.
Well, that time of year is all football season for Brian, so he's not allowed to leave McDougal.
I could give a flying shit about football. my time of year is right now. My boy plays AAU basketball, so I mean that's my focus right now. But he can have his football.
Works out
I
perfect.
crashed enough helmets in my days when in high school. So
Yep.
Awesome. So lots of good stuff coming down the line. It's exciting time of year as we're getting into the fair season, and if you don't think you're going to get enough between now and let's say Labor Day, there's plenty more waiting on the backside of that. We are just about out of time. Daryl, man, I appreciate you coming on the show. You talked at length about your family being your sponsors and what you're planning on doing this year. Is there anybody else that you want to make mention of before we let you go?
Just my buddy Albert King that helps me out. Without him, I really wouldn't get going. I mean, he
Awesome.
comes out after work and throws in and helps me out.
Actually, you know what? I
Out
can't
of the garage.
can't
Work
believe
in between the rainstorms. You know how it is.
what. We forgot to ask this, and I'm surprised that Ben didn't jump on it before. What do you have for a motor in your stuff?
I'm actually running a full throttle.
You're running a full throttle motor?
mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
I bought Josh Coons had it, and I bought it off of him, and that's what I'm running.
Nice.
And who takes care of the maintenance on it? You just do it right underneath the
Buddy
same tree?
Albert King.
Okay, he does.
Nice.
Very cool. One of those stories, man. We're pulling for you. I can't wait.
Yeah, I might not last long, but at least I'll make a show.
There you
That's
go.
I know that's
Attaboy.
it's like the Ray Stoker school of thought. You know, if Daryl Quter comes away with a win, it was by accident.
If I come out with a win, I better get something big. I can tell you that.
Can you imagine Daryl goes out there and he buys a couple raffle tickets, and now he has to bring home his wadded up Cadillac and that Pontiac wagon
And a raffle car.
and that raffle car?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The motor out of Cadillac, leave it there.
There you go.
Awesome, Daryl, man. It was great having you on the show tonight.
Thank you.
Wish you the best. We'll see you soon.
All right, bye.
There goes Daryl Quter, running a lot of homespun stuff over at the Bash for Cash this weekend, and I think
Dude, he just sounds like a good shit.
yeah, that's
Sure.
that's
Sure.
You know.
For sure.
gonna
Top 10 list of
automatically
who have a beer with.
Yeah.
it's thank you, Jason, for not saying that meeting him is on your bucket list, because I'm tired of hearing about bucket lists.
I don't use that term.
Josh, oh my God,
I did
Josh.
hear you throw out "it's gonna happen" about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Dude, I stole my kid's catchphrase. I'm not gonna lie about it.
It's awesome.
Was that? Did you
Yes.
Ben? Did you watch that?
I watched it. That's cool.
It was great.
Dude,
It was
that
great.
kid, that kid got like he's up to like 3,000 views.
Unbelievable.
My wife watched, and now she wants the
Yeah.
shirts, and I know it's
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
gonna
It's
be
all
good.
over.
I ordered the I I got lucky and caught a youth sale on where I get the T-shirts from, and I had to order some last-minute stuff for Kings of Old School. So I just dumped those in the cart, too. So we've got some blue shirts, some gray shirts, some pink shirts, and some purple shirts coming, and those are all going to be printed in gray, black, and white. But I'm not going to send those off to the printer. We got some other jobs that are right now that are much more intense that we're going to get through those. But those youth sizes and those shirts are only going to be available in youth sizes.
Yeah, because I need stickers for my truck like next week.
I'll get right on it. I will. let me make sure I understand this. You want me to rush that in front of the rush job that I had to rush in front of the last rush job?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure we're on the same page. Right. Perfect. He was going to be in studio, so I brought my son Alan in here. He loves coming here and just playing on the microphones. And when we set the stuff up at home and I have to run tests and things, I just stick a headset and a microphone in front of him and let him have a ball, and I'll hit the record button and just save it to catch what he says and set levels and fiddle around doing tests and things like that. So I brought him here, and we had everything set up for the 31st lap. There wasn't anything else really to do, so we had some downtime, and I'd done a quick MP3 recording, and he thought it was the best. And he's talking about how he's going to wreck this and wreck that. He's going to get a Cadillac and what motor he's going to have in it and all this other stuff. So
everybody's getting flipped.
Yeah.
He ends up so he ends up hanging out over here in Todd's chair.
Yeah.
And I swung the microphone over, and I saved everything and queued up the Crash Course stuff and did the show open and made him an overlay and ended up doing an interview with him. And this kid, who he's usually pretty shy, he starts talking some trash on everybody. And I'm thinking, these some of these guys are going to hear this and think that I coached him. And he totally just starts coming out with this stuff. And he's going to flip Brian. He's going to flip Josh. He's going to go after
Josh.
Especially Josh. That's right. And he's going after Luke Johnson. And he's going to go to Bash for Cash. And he's going to wreck my Newport. And he's going after Pete Hansen. And then on the flip side, he goes, when I'm a grown up, if they're still there, I'm going to flip them. And he must have said it's going to happen like 16 times, man.
It's going to happen.
So just for fun, I mocked up a T-shirt for him, and the response on that was pretty strong. So those are coming, but they are going to be a little ways off, just because we got to get some of these other jobs cleaned up and finished and done, and get some of these back orders straightened out. But yes, those are coming. That was a ball. Everybody was saying that we got to bring him on more often. He's still in school. At this point, he hasn't finished up his academic year for kindergarten yet. But this summer, when he can stay up a little bit later, I anticipate he'll probably come to a couple of the summer shows. And
cool.
What I really want him to do is get here early with me before Brian arrives and camp out in that chair right there, Todd's chair, and we'll have them all set up. And I want to see Brian threaten to beat Alan out of that chair, because I'm pretty sure he's not going to be able to do it. But we'll see.
Oh, Brian will be sitting right over there where Andy's sitting.
Yeah, it'll be. Let me see if we can. There's Andy right there. That's Andy's chin. he'll be camped out over there, and we'll make it work. But yeah, that was a ton of fun having him on, and we'll do it again. And hopefully, at this point, I'm pretty sure he's the only kid in his class that's been viewed in California and Minnesota and all over the place.
It's got over 3,000 views.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah. My aunt wants the hard copy of it because she wants to send it to Ellen and see if he can get on there. I'm like, why not?
Great.
Do it.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be great?
That would be awesome.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. I was working for it. I was stuck on a double shift, like I said, and I don't exactly work so hard, and I watch a lot of videos. I smiled, ear to ear watching that. It made my night. It was great.
For sure.
Did you see the picture? I took a picture of him with his bike helmet on, sitting in the front seat of the Newport.
Yeah.
You're gonna be mad if you come home and he's got the windows knocked out of it.
I told him this is not
happen.
What's the story about a Power Wheels?
He'll be calling Josh up, wanting to get a set of stacks for it and everything else.
Josh, Brian, and I have had a conversation about this a number of different times about the Power Wheel stuff, and those guys think you got to play a sport, and I think when he wants to play it, he'll play it. All of his friends are around it. If we started to push the idea of kickball, and he got pretty rattled by it. He's a fairly shy kid, so we're not really going to push him, and he hasn't asked anything about Power Wheels until last night when there was a full court press on about Power Wheels for a little while. So I don't know yet where it's going to go, because I would hate to get a Power Wheels together and then And this kid has the Dan Bolton mentality when it comes to building a derby anything. He said he wanted to go to Walmart and pick out a Power Wheel so he could bring to Kings of Old School. Now,
Is he going to sell it the day before?
Zing!
Maybe. But he wants to go get the best of the best and go down there. So I don't know. You know, we'll see how many more times this comes up. I don't anticipate him being at Kings of Old School because we've got to do the show. We've got to get down there early and do the show online. So that would make for a remarkably long day for him. Melissa's going to be running the camera down there. So we'd have to have somebody that would be able to bring him home because we can't really just say, well, Alan's done with this day. You guys have a good one, and shut everything off. So we'll haven't ruled it out though. I'm glad that he did take the time to ask about it and be aware of it and things like that. So sounds like it could be coming.
You know, when they want to jump in, they'll jump in and go full wide open.
I'll tell you what, he's very, very intrigued by the awful, ugly, horrible Cadillac body that I made for the RC car. And the absolutely beautiful Crown Vic that I got from Keith Rourke out in Ohio that has a full roll cage in it and a window bar that is very, very heavy. Very heavy. So both of those are going to be in action this weekend. He's really intrigued by those. So we'll break them in one electric motor at a time, and hopefully that'll lead to electric motors because by the time he's an adult, we're going to be smashing the Echoes that are all run on batteries anyway.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I didn't expect him to open up the way that he did. It was pretty cool.
It was cool.
Yup. Your boy never really got into it, did he?
I burned him out of it. He was with me all the time when I was building cars back when I was really heavy into it, and he loved smashing his back when Power Wheels were even Power Wheels. I mean, he was smashing his Jeep up the garage and smashing into cars, and then I'd have the Jeep that didn't work, and we'd have our own little smashing demos in the garage, you know, and spin them out and everything else. He thought that was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Right. I asked him time and time again, it's like, Hunter, you want to run a youth car? He just looks at me and says, I don't think so. My daughter, on the other hand, Sydney, she would strike me as one that would jump right out and do it.
Right.
But, you know, it's one of them things where, but no, he has... I think I burned him out of it. You know, I was gone a lot, and he just doesn't want anything to do with that now. He's focused on his sports.
Everything Alan has turns into a derby car. And it always ends up Josh Decker and Josh Buell and Brian and him would be the cars that he's got. And I'll never forget, it was just a couple weeks after Rick Engelhart died. He saw the pictures and all the yellow pictures of the cars from Otsego County in Morris when they did the tribute night there, and he held up a yellow wagon. He said, "And this one's your friend Rick's," which was really cool. Yeah. And then he proceeded to use that yellow wagon and flipped over Josh Buell's Suicide Lincoln, which was pretty funny. And then Brian was next to go, but he's got the big wheels and stuff, and he smashes into all of his buddies. He's turned all them on to Demolition Derby, and there's just their just pedal powered big wheels, and they'll. He caught one of his buddies who didn't really know anything about Demolition Derby. He tagged him in the right rear corner and spun him out. And when he spun him out, he didn't stop pedaling. He used the front wheel to shove him up to a flower bed, and he got him pinned against the flower bed. Pedaled backwards about 15 feet and drove forward again and hit him right square in the rear wheel and just about dumped him over into the flowers.
He's called
and I was like, you did all right. You paid attention.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. And then afterwards, of course, he stands on the seat of it with his arms in the air, and I'm just waiting for the time that the Power Wheels kicks out from underneath him and he breaks his arm, and that's where the worrisome me kicks in.
Chicks to cars.
Yep. So all ready for Bash for Cash this weekend. We're going to be leaving Friday. Got a day off of school, leaving Friday, driving the trip out, and should be a lot of fun. But we'll be back Monday. Presumably Monday night, depending on what time we get back in town from the Bash for Cash. Hopefully with one of the main division winners from either the 80s or the old school class, and we'll have a ball with that. Look for the schedule to be released in terms of Friday night, and then a couple times through the course of the day Saturday, and a couple times through the course of the day Sunday for Crash Course Live right from the Sciopa Racing tent. That's going to do it for us this week. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Had a good time with Daryl Quter and Russ. Surprise, surprise, we got to talk to Russ, and then opening the show with Jim Maloy, and so glad that Todd Height was able to make the trip in, and Jason, man, I'm glad you came, and that is going to do it for this edition of the Crash Course Live, episode number 84 in the books. Everybody, if you get the chance, get out to the Bash for Cash this weekend, and we'll see everybody next week. Thanks.
The Crash Course Podcast is brought to you in part by DerbyParts.com, the 2015 Bash for Cash and Smash It Demolition Derby, Bull Lockwood Motorsports, and the 2015 Keystone National, Scioppa Racing and ScioppaRacing.com, and Derby Inc. magazine. Live it, breathe it, be it, Derby Inc.